Hi, Andreas. What I'd like to start with today is the 5-finger patterns. So that's at the top of your assignment sheet, the new one I'm talking about, the one that I'm sending for today's lesson. So take those 5 fingers and roll them over. We're going to go to C major. And remember, we've been talking about the left hand, mainly the left hand, keeping it up, because sometimes you have a bit of a saggy left hand. So we want to keep that up higher. Notice there's just such a big difference in the height of my wrist here. So hands together, we're just going to do C's, D's, E's, F's, G's, F's, E's, D's, and C's. And your job is to make sure that that left hand never goes any lower than where you started it. So I want you to do that 3 times. Then you're going to go to D major, which is one of our newer 5-finger patterns, and do the same thing. I'm going to just do my left hand to demonstrate that it's not going to ever go any lower. Here it goes. Every finger is on the tip, and my pinky stays tall. It never went any lower. Okay? And then I want to do E major. So you have E, up a whole step, up a whole step, up a half step, up a whole step. I know you know that. Here I go. And checking my left hand that it never went any lower. And I think it stayed the same. Okay? So you're going to do each of those 3 times. And then you can put me on pause and do those 3 times each, okay? The next thing I want you to do then is go on to This Old Man. And actually, no, I'm sorry. We're going to do Cheers for D major chord. And I just want you to do this one to make sure that you're keeping your hand up and that you're leaning when you cross over for each chord. Getting louder, and the last one is soft. C major. Leaning over. Soft. And then hands float to your lap. Okay? So on this one, when you practice it, you're going to lean as you cross, and you're going to listen that in measure 7, it's the loudest, but in measure 8, it's the softest. That's what those signs are telling you. Again, you're going to make sure that in measure 7, it's the loudest, and in measure 8, it's the softest. Are you going to do the same thing down here on this line? Of course you are. So put me on pause and go ahead and practice that. Next, we have This Old Man, and my hope is that yours sounds like this. I'm going to play it in D major. And then you were to transpose it to C major. So I'm going to first play it in D major, like this. This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my thumb with a knick-knack, paddywhack, give a dog a bone. This old man came rolling home. Repeat. This old man, he played one. And you would play that 2 times. Now I want you to take that and try it in C major. This old man, he played one. He played knick-knack on my thumb, etc. Now you're going to do it with the left hand. D major first. A nice smooth crossover. I want you to watch my crossover, just because I know that was something we went over at your last lesson. Just watch my left hand for the beginning and make sure that yours sounds like this for the left hand in D major. Watch my crossover, 2 rolls, and I roll back. So 2 rolled over to the B. Notes are coming together. And then you would repeat it. You can repeat it again in D and then in C major. So what's the point of this piece? A couple of things. Transposing it to the key of C and making sure that that left hand crosses over with a nice smooth transition. A roll over on that thumb, okay? You can put me on pause and go ahead and practice that. And you can use this video over and over and over again during the week. Every day you sit down and practice, you can practice with Mrs. Nelson. All right, the next new piece we're going to do is Spring, which is such a great piece because that is what we are going to be coming up to, the season of spring. Now, my guess is you know this piece, but I'm going to go ahead and play it for you. So go ahead and look at it. It's on page 37 of your lesson book. This is your new piece. It goes like this. Couple things to mark. The first thing, take your pencil out. I would like for you to mark this very important rest that happens. It's a nice pattern. It happens every time you have the 8th notes. Every time that you have the 8th notes in the right hand, you have a quarter rest. Bum, bum, bum. So I want you to circle all those quarter rests. They are in the left hand. In fact, you know what? Let's just circle all of them. Circle all your quarter rests, even the first one. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 quarter rests. Make sure that you circled all 6. Okay? And then the first practice step is to tap and count it. Okay, how many beats are in each measure? That's right, 4 beats. And do we start on beat 1 or do we start on beat 4? We start on beat 4. So you're going to tap and say 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Rest in the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3. Rest in the left. 1, 2, 3. So I want you to practice tapping and counting it. That's your first practice step. The second practice step is just the right hand. So there are some staccatos, and they are always on the quarter notes. Always on the quarter notes. Okay, I think you're going to have no problem with this piece. I think it's going to be quite easy for you. But there's quite a couple things to watch. The staccatos, the slurs. There are some tied notes in the left hand. So you're going to want to take notice of the tied notes. We also didn't answer what 5-finger pattern it is. So you're going to want to answer that up in the question, okay? Nice picture, I like that. Those are like almost my favorite colors. Okay, you can put me on pause and do the practicing for that. All right, let's see. Back to your sheet here. I'd like to have you continue with storms on Saturn. So we were just working on counting. And so I'm sure this week you have a beautiful sound on that and some good counting. Let's just make sure that in the beginning you have a nice strong sound and a quarter note on beat 1. 1 and 2 and 3. Oops, sorry. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and this week I want you to practice just for fun to see how loud and how soft you can get, but mainly how softly you can get when you practice this week, okay? So that's your review piece, kind of just hanging on for one more week. You can put me on pause and practice that if you choose. The next new one that we had was the smooth and crunchy. And so all we were really doing with that was just tapping and counting. And I'd love to go over that because I find that a bit tricky. So that was kind of the big thing from last week. So we're going to go over smooth and crunchy, and I want you to tap it with me. I'm just going to tap the right hand, and I'm only going to end at measure 4. So my right hand is going to stop right here. That's where I'm going to stop. Okay? So I'm going to say, we have 4 beats in a measure, correct? I'm going to do something like this. So we said 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and let's just do that first measure again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and rest, 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 rest. Okay? So, let's play the right hand. We have not done that yet. Let's play the right hand. So we have our hand in a G 5-finger pattern for measure 1. So your right hand is in a G major 5-finger pattern. And then it will move to a D major 5-finger pattern for measure 2. So I'm going to bring the camera a little bit closer so that you can see my hand. And let me do that this way. I'm going to put it in my other hand. So, let's see. This is not working. Oh, you know what? I'm just going to bring it a little closer. Gee, I hope that didn't make you seasick. All right, here we go. That's so funny. You wouldn't believe this. I have it on my shoulder. That's not going to work. Let me see what I really want to do here. It's really interesting. Oh, that'll work. Hello. All right. So my right hand is in a G major 5-finger pattern. And then it is going to move to a D major 5-finger pattern. Okay, I don't really know if that's helpful. D major for the first measure, G major, excuse me, to a D major. And then back to a G major, and then back to a D major. So I'm going to put this back on the table here. So for smooth and crunchy, you need 2 hand positions for the right hand. A D major, a G major, and then a D major. There we go. So G major, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So the first measure is just in a G 5-finger pattern, but the second measure is in a D major 5-finger pattern, and remember that F sharp. Let's do that again. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 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 1. Now the rest is almost the same thing in the right hand, but just connected. It's legato. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. So I did move and put a finger 5 in this measure. I put my pinky there. I also did put my pinky on this A here. So you might want to write the number 5 there. All right. The left hand we went over together. Remember, you've got that G. Nice and simple. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the left hand is easier, I believe, than the right hand. Notice my left hand was nice and loose, and it stayed up in that 5-finger pattern. Okay? I only want you to practice it hands separately, and I want to make sure that you are counting as you practice through it, okay? So, I think you're going to enjoy that. It's a super fun piece. So you can put me on pause and practice that for quite a bit. We have covered everything. I did take off the thunderstorm. That you can certainly practice and continue to play in different patterns. You can mix up your 1, 2, and 3. But as I mentioned, choose your pattern ahead of time. And I believe that's it. If you have any questions during the week, just let me know. And I hope that this lesson video was helpful to you. And I look forward to seeing you next week. Bye.